The fraud and corruption case involving private contractor Bosasa and the Department of Correctional Services has been postponed yet again. Former Bosasa Chief Operations Officer Angelo Agrizzi also failed to appear in the Pretoria Commercial Crimes Court again on Friday, citing ill health. Newzroom Afrika senior reporter Tumaole Mohlaoli has the story.
All dressed up, but it still seems that the prosecution is not fully prepared to proceed with the case against them. The result? Yet another postponement in the fraud and corruption trial against former Correctional Services Commissioner Linda Mti, former Chief Financial Officer Patrick Gillingham, and former Bosasa Chief Financial Officer Andries van Tonder, and former Bosasa Chief Operations Officer Angelo Agrizzi. The National Prosecuting Authority says, in the interest of justice, the prosecution will try ailing Angelo Agrizzi separately.
The matter has been postponed to the 23rd of March. This is for us to get a High Court date. We intend to transfer the matter at the next court appearance to the High Court, where it can proceed speedily. Additionally, we have told the court that at the next appearance, should it come to our attention that Mr. Angelo Agrizzi is not fit and proper to continue with trial, we will then have to separate or start the separation of trial application in court, and then separate or transfer the other three accused to the High Court while we further assess Mr. Angelo Agrizzi. However, we have told the court that we have been inundated with attempts to get an independent pulmonologist on board with the same specialization as that of his doctor to basically look at the medical record and do an independent assessment of whether or not he can stand trial.
But Angelo Agrizzi's legal counsel is adamant that the former Bosasa Chief Operations Officer is being unfairly portrayed by the prosecution as trying to evade the long arm of the law.
And the attitude of the state was that they don't understand that if Mr. Agrizzi can give interviews on television and he can give radio interviews, why is he not attending court? What they failed to tell this court, and which is something that I'm very, very disappointed and surprised at, is very, very simply that we had a Zoom meeting at the request of the state where we gave them our full cooperation and assistance with Dr. Chohan, where they had fully prepared, obviously with medical input from expert witnesses, a full list of questions on Mr. Agrizzi's medical condition. That was in October last year.
Bosasa and its business dealings has dominated the headlines since former COO Angelo Agrizzi testified before the Zondo Commission of Inquiry into state capture. The case relates to 4 tenders awarded to Bosasa and its subsidiaries between August 2004 and 2007. Angelo Agrizzi's deteriorating health triggered the previous postponement to the 1.8 billion rand Bosasa fraud and corruption case in October 2021. Those contracts were issued for services relating to catering and training instruction, installation of CCTV cameras, installing perimeter fencing and supplying TV systems and monitoring equipment for the Correctional Services Department. The parties will return to court in March. For Newzroom Afrika Channel 405, I'm Tumaole in Pretoria.